Welcome everyone to the female bodybuilding channel. Now and today we have Ms Olympia Andrea Shaw. Welcome, and of course AJ.
Hello. And AJ.
Yeah.
First of all, we saw JB before you ask your questions. Did we see? Can you see the upper pecs of Andrea Shaw now?
Yeah.
With the lighting. Andrea Shaw. There you go. Now we're back in business. Okay, JB, fire away.
Okay, first of all, how are you doing today, Andrea?
Doing good. I mean, I can definitely tell I'm in prep now, guys. I mean, with the diet changes and it's getting close, but I'm excited. I'm happy, and thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
We are honored. We're honored. I'm glad we finally made it. That's good. I saw on the social media that you are traveling a lot the last past weeks. Where do you have been the past weeks?
Oh gosh, I've been to Arizona, Pittsburgh, Savannah, and I went somewhere else. I've been flying so much, you guys.
How was it?
I know I went somewhere else. I'm just not thinking of it.
How's the feeling to traveling around so a lot? I don't know it. How's the feeling?
So how is the feeling traveling so much when you're on the Olympia prep?
It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment, but the more I do it, the easier it gets. So like this is definitely better than the first year. The first year that I had all the travel, it was oh man, because I got back from Tampa Pro and I had 4 weeks to get ready till showtime. So this time it was a lot easier, and I kind of started to travel with more of a plan. So yeah, I mean, when I travel now, it's like, okay, I have to cook most of my food. So it's a matter of being well planned out and then researching, what gyms are close by. Do I know anybody there? What kind of access can I get to a gym before I get there? And then once I get that part down, the rest is easy.
I see.
Yeah. But it's exciting. It's very exciting.
I think so. Yeah.
RisingPhoenix, 23 days?
23 days.
Yeah, counting.
But first of all, Andrea, before that, RisingPhoenix, okay. This season has been a different season, a little bit different. Some people haven't been competing for whatever reasons. The season started very. Me and JB, we had mental breakdowns because there were so few shows. I was calling and say, Andrea, women's physique is taking over, and I can't stand this. And then it got a lot better. But yeah, Andrea, we gotta say, man, we don't see anyone even remotely, even close to beating you right now. When you prep and you see the rest of the athletes, and they're great.
Yeah.
But they are great, but they're not close. But how do you prep? Do you prep only beating yourself, the legacy, or like, because when you don't have anyone pushing you, and we have seen all the athletes, respect all the athletes. There's some great athletes, Mona Porsaye, Mikaela Aycock. But we see a lot of the girls like Monique's gone, Helleg's gone, Irene Anderson, consistency with the conditioning. I don't know. There's some great new girls, Donna Salib. But you are a level above the rest.
Angela Yeo, she's looking amazing. Her conditioning is on point. But yeah, I mean, I always know who I'm competing against, but I always make sure that even if it's some small changes, I have to be better than I was last year. That's the #1 goal every season. Like, I have to be better than I was last year. That's my non-negotiable. So I mean, but I still just knowing.
So what are you working on for this package?
So my package this year, I wanted to develop my glutes a little bit more. Just to add maybe a little more symmetry some more curves in the road, so to speak. And my legs, specifically my quads and hamstrings. So, and it's my legs grew a little bit, so it's been a little frustrating up until like today, where I'm asking my coach, and I'm like, okay, do you really think my legs are going to be sharp enough, because we did grow them a little bit. And sometimes there's a fine line between having mass and clarity, right? Some girls you see, they don't have a whole lot of clarity, but they've got mass, and vice versa. They've got a lot of, mass and just no clarity. So it's a fine line, and it's challenging. It's challenging more than probably most women would like to admit, especially if you have a really thick, dense muscle bellies. But it's so I mean, that's been the goal. So in 23 days, I'm going to see if I've been able to. One thing's for sure, I always get better from the Rising Phoenix to the Olympia, but I still want to be better with my package at the Rising Phoenix this year than I was last year.
Are you peak? That's can't say that, but are you like thinking that the Olympia is going to be the? Are you peaking for Rising, or are we coming like Andrew Jack says, 85%, and then how are you? What's the strategy?
We always go in with the strategy of being able to peak at both shows. And it seems like it's okay because we have enough time in between to do a pretty good rebound. Like 5 weeks in between the two shows is a good amount of time to rebound. So like last year, I got my first cheat meal ever, like ever.
What do you mean? What do you mean ever?
Yeah. Like during, okay, so like we always get a cheat meal the night of the show, and sometimes the next day, but like the following week, I had a full-blown cheat meal. Like I've never had that. And I still came in at the Olympia really pretty sharp. So that's, when you start looking at the muscle maturity, some things you just have to kind of, you gotta flow with it, and you have to just have a coach that can keep the eyes on you. So yeah, I think the goal is to peak at both shows. So we just kind of monitor, how I look and what I'm able to eat, and we just kind of take it from there. But yeah, we use the same strategy for both, and it always seems like to me, I get more fullness when it comes to the Olympia. I think.
JB, you had a question for Andrea Shaw about the 3 competitors. She was in it, JB. What was it again?
Yeah, and what's the thing? First of all, in Rising Phoenix, what do you like about the show besides being on stage? Is there any special things about Rising Phoenix you can tell us, or the people around here?
Oh yeah. I feel like the Rising Phoenix is like our Oscars. Like they roll out the red carpet for us because it's our own show when it comes to, like, the rest of the show is the Arizona Pro and the Arizona NPC, right? But the Wings of Strength is specifically for the female bodybuilders, and it's Jake Wood and the team, they go to great lengths to make sure that we are well taken care of. And we get a chance to show people a little bit more of who we are, because we have a little 2-minute video that we do. And it could be anything we want, but whatever it is that the ladies want to, discuss in the video, it gives the people a chance to see us outside of the stage, you know what I mean? And get to know more of our personalities. So I think that part sets it. My mom says that the Rising Phoenix is more prestigious, but and obviously, the car, right? That's a huge deal.
Obviously,
I like the special touches with the video and like everything, every detail is taken care of. We have all the food and accoutrements backstage. We have like everything. We get weighted on hand and foot. It's like queens. We're queens.
So the contest is just a sideshow of that,
No.
Well, I don't know. I don't think AJ would support that.
No, but
definitely a big show.
Yeah. I know that. But
it's
for the athletes, I mean,
JB, it's very important. With JB doesn't like money, but I do, and it's when you can have yes, JB, and for people at home, a beautiful car, and all the hard work that goes into a prep. When you get $50,000 for the win, it brings prestige because so much you put into it,
and it's like it justifies it. Yeah, you know what I mean. It justifies all of the sacrifice because it's a huge sacrifice. I was just telling Isabel Terrell yesterday that, like, when I lost my job in 2020, I took all of my 401k And I put it all the chips on the table.
Wow.
Everything.
You lost your job during COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
What
right before the Rising Phoenix.
Wow.
What was your job? We don't know anything about it. What happened there?
Oh yeah, I worked for a large healthcare system up here in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And we had some offices in Detroit, but I was a rehab trainer and personal trainer for our wellness division and rehab division of the hospital. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I had a salary, I had stock option, I had 401k. I had tuition reimbursement. I had every intention of going back to my job. But yeah, they called me and said that they couldn't afford to continue to pay me my salary. So I told my coaches, both of them, I'm like, okay, plan A has to work because plan B just got set on fire. There's no job to go back to. So I have to win. There's no other option. And I prayed a lot.
And we remember Andreas JB 22 right now. For people at home, they don't always remember, Andrea Shaw now obviously it's like Ronnie Coleman and Phil Heath in peak, so they think she can't be beat. But in 2020, we remember the first call out, they had Helen and Monique Jones.
Yep.
And we have Andrea and help us out, Alicia Young. And there was a lot of going back and forth.
Yep, we were dancing.
And now 2 years later, it's wow. Just that show, that meant a lot, didn't it? That 2020
it did a lot. That show put me on the map. That's why it's still special. As long as I'm competing, I will always do the Rising Phoenix. Always. I will never neglect that show. Ever. It's too special to me to neglect it.
Talk to us a little bit about Olympia. Who's helping you? Is it Rachel Daniels with your routine? No?
Yes. So Rachel does my routine that I do at finals. Mm-hmm. And Sydney Gillen helps me with my posing and presentation for prejudging.
Oh.
Ooh, this is big names.
I have a team.
This is Sydney Gillen.
Whole company.
This is
six time. We're gonna call her 6 time.
We often debate on social media who's the most dominant champion right now. Is it Andrea Shaw or is it Sydney Gillen? Huh?
I guess we'll do a poll, right?
Yeah, we'll do a poll.
Sydney's been in the game a long time. You know what I mean? This is going to be her 6th win, so she's been at it a while, and we're really close. I mean, Sydney's my right hand when it comes to making sure I'm, on point with my posing and some other details too. But, just getting to know her over the years, she has a champion's mindset. She's got the most determined mindset of an athlete that I've ever met, male or female, ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
This season has been up and down. What's your top 3 favorite moments for women's bodybuilding this season for you?
Oh, yes. Savannah Pro, Atlanta Pro. Oh,
first Savannah Pro. That was the great Asha Adley, wasn't it?
Yes. And we got a chance to finally see Christina Bryant do her female bodybuilding debut. Yep. Finally. After 2 years.
That you scouted to the women's bodybuilding, correct?
Yes. Do you remember I told you? I said this girl is women's bodybuilding. Her and legs.
JB actually had her winning, didn't you, JB?
Yeah.
Her conditioning was on point.
Yep.
Her conditioning was on point. It always is. But that's where, just getting her to step out there. And I'm so proud of her. I am so incredibly proud of her. And she's already hitting the ground running for her off season for next year. So I think we've got a few more that I think can come over. So slowly and surely, just kind of putting the feelers out there. Because again, I want to see the division grow some more, right? Yeah. The more we get girls who aren't doing so well in women's physique, maybe they are making the top 5, but they're not moving up higher beyond that. There's a reason. It's typically because they're too dense and the muscle bellies are just, even for women's physique, just not the best fit for the category. That was my case, right? Mm-hmm. So, again, when I see these girls, sometimes it's just a matter of finding the timing to tell them, okay, look, if you want to consider another option, this is what I would kind of look at. And, you want to be gentle because it's a big jump. they don't know what to assume. And obviously they look at me and they're like, well, I'm not as big as you. And I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to be as big as me.
Well, we wish they were though, but yeah.
But there's always an
it's
option.
not where you fit.
Okay, so Savannah, Asha Adley, for me, the front lat spread, the way she comes out. This is JB. When the front lat spread to Asha Adley, it's game over.
Beautiful.
It's very
And
good.
and our beloved Isabel Terrell finally came back out of retirement. The fit rock star.
Under the hood. Yeah.
So Savannah, what was your other show? It was
Atlanta Pro.
Atlanta. Who was
Atlanta Pro?
Who was
that
the winner?
Oh gosh, hold on, because I'm more concerned with my ladies who ended up coming out of
the winner, JB? Atlanta.
I always butcher her
name. Was it
name.
Angela Yeo?
No, she won the Chicago Pro, but that's my third show, Chicago Pro.
Atlanta, come on, we got it.
Oh, hold on, because I interviewed the winner. Why am I not thinking of who it is?
Chelsea?
You guys, I'm in prep.
Chelsea Dion? No? Who was it? Are we that slow, JB?
You guys aren't in prep, are you?
Okay, so Angela,
the winner.
Well,
I don't know why I'm not thinking right now, guys.
JB is thinking for Atlanta. Talk to us about Angela Yao.
Oh, yes. So I've been following her since she got her pro card in women's physique. And she and I know a gym owner who's a friend of mine in Ohio. So she came to do a posing clinic with us not even 30 days after she won. And I got to meet her. And I mean, I'm looking at her and I'm like, girl, you look like a bodybuilder. And sure enough, she came over. And I mean, when I saw her step on stage at Chicago Pro, because I was, just keeping up with the live stream, she looked like she was going to take the win. I mean, Sheena looked good. But Angela's density spoke loud that day. And Sheena came in and she still did better at the next show, but I was just definitely very pleasantly surprised that Angela's conditioning came up the way it did, because it was stellar. It was stellar.
That was fantastic. It was a great battle with Sherry Priani there. She brought a lot.
Yes.
Are you happy? We're seeing some good conditioning this year, Andrea.
We are. And that's the biggest thing. I told the girls when I sat in the audience, even at the Tampa Pro, I was just very proud to see the ladies show up. And we had good quality athletes show up. Ladies who took the time to prepare. The makeup was beautiful. The hair was beautiful. I mean, these ladies put thought into what type of elegance they wanted to bring to the stage. Yeah. And that was a shining moment for me to just be there and take it all in.
JB, did you find the Atlanta show?
Yes, I found it.
Okay, so give us a clue. Give us a clue of the winner.
A
clue. Just tell us.
Small. Just tell us. Not small. Not tall. Very, very, very shredded.
A-Cock.
Yeah.
A-Cock. That's right. I interviewed her. Why am I not thinking of her? Oh, I love her. Yeah. I gave her a mutant jug because we interviewed her for mutant as the winner. Yes. Yeah. And I told her when, I don't know if you guys remember, her car got broken into.
Yeah.
When she got down there. And I'm like, that means something good is getting ready to happen. We don't know what, but something good is going to happen. And sure enough, when she won, I was like, okay, yeah, I told you. I told you.
Tremendous story for people. She had an injury. She had no real off season. She came in without anyone knowing, and she killed it. She made improvements, signature conditioning.
Yeah,
that leads us into Rising Phoenix. If you weren't in, remember JB, you asked me about this for Andrea Shaw, but if you weren't in Rising Phoenix, Andrea, if you were a judge of just your view of women's bodybuilding, what would be your top 4? And you're not in it. That will never happen.
Well, that's clear. Well, that's a trick question, AJ, because you know what? Having test judged this past July, it really depends on what you see that shows up. Some people, and you've seen it even over this season. There's some girls who've done multiple shows where the conditioning either improved or it didn't improve, right? Some girls started to decline the more shows that they did. Okay. So I mean that can be kind of tough.
So okay, let's say some names. Let's say some names. Mela Ash, what are we expecting this year? Because this is a big show for her.
Oh yeah, I know Mela has upped her game. I know she has, and we've had conversations. And Mela, she's hungry. She's hungry, and I expect the same thing that she always brings, like with the symmetry, because her symmetry is absolutely beautiful. But I think Mela, having gone with the new coach, Hyacinth Nasser.
Okay.
I think that her conditioning is going to be much improved, especially after what we saw at Toronto last year. So that's what I anticipate from Mela. I think her conditioning is going to be a lot better. And I think she's probably added some size during this off season, especially from what I can see thus far. So that's what I'm expecting from her. I'm definitely seeing Mela coming in, much higher than what she did last year.
A different type of physique. An athlete like Eva Montgomery, she didn't make it to the Rising Phoenix. She applied. She won the Canadian show. What do you think she could do? She has a very different type of physique, Eva Montgomery.
She does. I think she just has to grow into women's bodybuilding. That's all. Just like I had to. I mean, that's just, yeah. We have to find, because she's still fairly new. So I think she just needs to grow into the division a little bit more. That's all. I can't say she has any weak points or any strong points because I like her physique. But yeah, she just has to grow into it. And guys, when you've come from another division or you're newer to this division, there's a learning curve. There's some patterns. That's the best way I can describe it. There's some patterns mentally that you have to break. And that just comes with time.
Oh, time, man. Yeah.
Mutant Nation, the Mutant supplement brand is doing tremendous type of work. We see you a lot. How do people react? Because some people have stereotypes that women bodybuilders aren't supermodels like yourself. What's when you walk around, average American eating hamburgers and whatnot, what do they react? What's your reaction when they meet Andrea Shaw for the first time?
Well, usually it's just do you compete? I get that question the most, probably. I mean, because they see the muscle and it's like, oh, do you compete? Because I mean, clearly you work out a lot. That's usually the question that I get asked, and I'll laugh and I say, yeah, but I usually don't. I'm not a gloater, so I mean, it's just, yep, I do. And then if they ask more questions, then I'll engage, but I don't like, oh yes, let me tell you who I am and what I do, and I just talk to them like people. And sometimes they ask me for tips and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just, hey, do you compete? And then it's usually like, oh, well, I know somebody who competes, or you got any advice to help me lose this? And they'll point at something.
But don't they go a little bit more crazy? Because I've seen on Instagram, each time there's a picture of you, there's so many guys saying, oh, and like, ooh, who is this?
No.
They don't.
No. That's where, I mean, I think people have a little more courage to speak from behind a keyboard, whether they're shy. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. Not everybody has a bad intent, right? But some people are shy. Some people don't know what to say. Some people may feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person's in front of me. So, I think it's just a little bit different. Some people just are naturally more comfortable typing versus being vocal and approaching.
Last questions about the Olympia. JB, you've been planning the celebration for Andrea Shaw in Germany now for a year or two. I've been buying my special design suit and found my gifts to give you. And when are you coming to Europe, Andrea Shaw? Because it's time now.
It is next year. So
when?
Really?
Yeah. The plan is to come to the Arnold UK and to Dennis James's show in Frankfurt.
Ooh, you coming to
and potentially potentially Romania. I still have to talk to Alina, but I did kind of let it be known that I would like to come to Romania.
To compete or to shake hands?
Maybe to shake hands. Well, to shake hands, definitely, and maybe guest post.
JB, how can we get her to compete?
In Frankfurt, it's impossible because Dennis James doesn't have women's bodybuilding. But
no, but Romania.
But in Romania,
that would be something.
Good luck.
Get a master plan. You get a master plan.
No. We want to thank you, Andrea. Obviously, me and JB, we have been supportive since the moment we saw you.
You have. And that's why I always will come on and support you guys too. You have. I will never forget it. I reached out to you. I think it was a YouTube. There was a YouTube video, and I said to you, I was the girl that Margie was talking about from the Toronto Pro.
Yeah.
And now you're going into this Olympia. You're going to be the 3-time Ms Olympia, 3-time Rising Phoenix, and you are on your way to tie definitely Linda Murray. And let's see you with Iris Kyle.
Time shall tell, my friend.
Oh, yeah. No, we're really, JB, myself, we're really proud of you. And the highlight of the season is to watch you compete. And we are 3 weeks away. So we wish you a healthy prep, as healthy as it can be.
Thank you.
And Andrea, before you go, do we see some? Do we see some? JP, we gotta. Andrea, can't we see some a little bit? Can't we see something? Because you told us you're not showing anything more on Insta. Oh, JB.
There we go.
There we go.
And that's it.
That's it. Oh,
okay. Come on, Andrea.
JB, please. Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
See you soon.
One thing. Oh, Instagram.
Ah.
Oh.